and welcome to Brand Your Passion, the show that helps you turn the thing you love the most into something that people know and love you for. I'm your host, Holly Arnett, the brand coach for creatives, and I'm on a mission to make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. If you're ready to get more eyes on your work, more dollars in your pocket, and more creativity in your life, you're in the right place. Welcome. Let's brand your passion. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Brand Your Passion. Today we are talking all about brand archetypes, and I cannot believe we haven't already talked about these before because I feel like I talk about them all the time. I use them all the time in the strategies that I use. Pretty sure I've mentioned them in like workshops that I've done or in products that we've created, resources we've created, all of that stuff, but we've never done a podcast episode about it. So here we are. I'm here to introduce you to brand archetypes, give you like the 101, the 411, whatever numbers you need to learn all about brand archetypes, what they are, which ones you might be, and how to use them in your business and implement them in your brand. So without further ado, let's talk about brand archetypes. So basically, if you think about any story you've ever read, any movie you've ever watched, there are these kind of typical characters that we will encounter. There might be like a hero, like Luke Skywalker or Wonder Woman. There might be the Jester, if you think like the Weasley twins. The wise sage, that's like Gandalf or Yoda. And the explorer, like Mulan or Indiana Jones. And so many others, like literally think of any movie and you will recognize these repeatable characters that fit into these archetypes that help us to understand, relate to, and connect to them. And it works not just with movie characters, not just with people in books, but with everybody and with brands in particular. This like idea started way back in like 348 BC with the Greek philosopher Plato, who talked about these templates of intuitive understanding, basically saying that when we like know these characters, we intuitively understand who they are. So when you think about the hero, for example, you intuitively know that that person is brave, that they're probably the good guy, that they stand up for the little guy, that they believe in bravery, in mastery, in being the best, in helping people. Like we just instinctively know these things about these archetype people. And so since like Plato figured this out way back in the day, other people have also explored the same idea. There was a Swiss psychiatrist called Carl Jung, and Carl is kind of the person credited with figuring out the whole brand archetypes thing. And recently there was also a book by Margaret Mark and Carol S. Pearson called The Hero and the Outlaw: How to Build Extraordinary Brands Through the Power of Archetypes. So it's like been around for a hot minute. A lot of people have talked about it. People have used it a lot in like storytelling, obviously, like we've talked about, but also in building brands. Because these archetypes are so universally recognized throughout history, around the world, cross generations, because we all understand them inherently. It's really useful for creating like a unique brand voice that your audience understands, that they relate to, and they connect with. Because if they know that your brand is the hero, they already make these connotations in their brain. They have these understandings about who you are, what you're trying to do, what you're about. It works like magic, right? So that is what archetypes are. And basically how they work, or what's good about them, is that they help you to connect with your audience. That's like the main thing, is that when you have a clear brand archetype, it's really easy for you to communicate that with your audience and for them to connect back with you. And it kind of differentiates you from other people, right? So if there are like 100 jewelry brands, but they're all magicians and your archetype is the outlaw, then you're going to stand out and make people be like, oh, that's different, that's new, but I can understand that and I like it. And so it's a really good tool for like stopping your audience and then connecting with them when they see who you are. So let's talk a little bit about what each archetype is and what they mean. So in no particular order, the sage is the wise person. It's the person you want to go to for understanding, for wisdom, for knowledge. They believe that education is like the path to wisdom, and that wisdom is where you will find all of your answers. They want to understand the world and they want to share that knowledge with other people. Then if we talk about the magician is a powerful brand that believes that anything can happen. They believe in transformation, magical moments. They believe that the impossible can be possible, and their voice will be full of like magic and awe and wonder and possibility. Next up is the hero, which I've mentioned a little bit, but they are a brave brand that values mastery. They believe in making the world better and that they can do that with grit and determination. They believe that where there's a will, there's a way, and they can inspire and empower audiences to succeed and believe in their ambition. The creative, which many of you might be, is all about innovation. So for creative people, for the creative archetype, it's like, if I can dream it, I can make it happen. If I can imagine it, it can be created. They want to see potential and ideas and imagination and originality everywhere. And basically their whole mission is to create new and exceptional and exciting and inspiring things and encouraging other people to do the same. The caregiver is like the kindest person. They are a selfless brand. They're all about service to other people. They want to love their neighbor as they love themselves, and they believe that everybody deserves care. So we all want to like help each other. They're super protective and caring and warm, and they're the person that you'd like want to go to if you were feeling rubbish. Or you wanted to feel like comforted, basically. The outlaw is a rebellious brand that challenges the status quo. They are like super revolutionary. They do a lot of things based on like revenge. They do a lot of rule breaking, and they really are all about like empowering revolution, like encouraging people to revolt. And they have a very like gritty, sassy, attitude-filled voice. The lover is an intimate brand. It's very all about like desire and pleasure and closeness, intimacy. They make people feel special and desirable and connected and beautiful, and it's all very emotive, passionate, and sensual. The Jester, as you can imagine, is funny as heck. So it's all about having fun and laughing and having a good time. They're all about like, you know, we might as well let our hair down, have a good time, enjoy yourself, living in the moment. It's not serious at all, and it brings joy to everybody around them. That is the Jester. The ruler is all about like control and power. It's very commanding and powerful. It's all about success and excellence and achievements. They want to be like best of the best, top of the top, creme de la creme. They want to be number one. And very like luxury, glamorous, wealthy, wonderful. The innocent is a very sweet brand, all about like safety and simplicity and youthfulness, happiness. It's very positive and optimistic, wants to make sure everybody's really happy. It's super like honest and pure, and they're all about like seeing the best in everybody. And last but not least of the 12 brand archetypes is the explorer. The explorer is like somebody who cannot be fenced in, cannot be stopped, always trying to like try new things, get out into the world, get out of their comfort zone, take risks, challenge themselves. They're all about valuing the journey and sharing that experience with other people. So those are the different brand archetypes. There are 12, and you might your brand might either be one of them or a combination of a couple of them or even 3 of them, or maybe you're like transitioning from one to the other. So you might have been like the explorer, but now you are kicking ass and you're trying to establish yourself as the ruler, like you are number one in your industry now. At first you were just exploring and figuring it out, and now you are the ruler and you want to establish that power, for example. If you are like a mixture of 2, like a combination of 2, it can be helpful to figure out the weighting of that. So I would normally say like, this brand is the creative magician, and they are 70% creative, 30% magician. So they are like mostly a creative, but every now and then, or there's this like sprinkle of magic in what they do, right? So you can kind of give weight to each part of your brand archetype. So how do you figure out which one is which? Which one is your brand archetype? Well, number 1 is, because this is all about connecting with your audience, you want to kind of have an idea of who your audience are and know them quite well to understand what they want to connect with, what are they looking for, what kind of people are they? Do they want somebody similar to them, or do they want somebody to kind of push them to be this other thing? Think about who your audience is and what's going to resonate with them and appeal to them. And then also obviously know yourself and your brand. So know your vision and your mission and your values, so that if you might pick the ruler, but then be like, but my brand is really not like about being the number 1. Maybe I'm more of like the outlaw, because that aligns more with my vision and my values. So it's kind of a combination of your audience and your brand, and you will kind of, I hate giving this kind of answer because it's so vague, but you will like know it when you find it. You should really resonate with the brand archetype that you choose. So you should say like, okay, I think I'm the innocent every person. That feels good. When I read about them, that feels like me, that sounds like me. I feel like I relate to them and I can show up as that authentically. So that's what you want to try to do to choose your brand archetype. And then how do you implement that in your business? Well, your brand archetype can be really powerful in a lot of ways. You can use it to inform your brand voice. You can use it to write messaging based on like what that person would say or what they would sound like. You can write marketing campaigns or create campaigns based around your archetype. You can name your products based on your archetype, right? If you are the explorer, you might have products that are named like exploring words. Things that are like about adventure or the journey or traversing trepids. You can use kind of explorer related words to name your products. You can create content around your brand archetype. So if you think and go through the list of brand archetypes, you can see what drives them, what they're afraid of, what their motto is, what their brand voice sounds like. So you can create content around all of those things and so much more. It can inform your visual identity, social media, the copy on your website, everything and anything that's related and informed by your brand personality can be informed by your brand archetype, because your brand archetype is essentially your brand personality. And that's it. That is the intro to brand archetypes episode. I hope that it's been interesting and informative, and now you can go ahead and have a think about what your brand archetype is and let us know. Tag us on Instagram or hit us up in the studio if you haven't joined the studio already, and come and chat in there and let's talk about what your brand archetype is, because I would love to hear it, and I'm a nerd for all this stuff, so I love it and I would love to talk to you about it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and as always, please keep creating, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Brand Your Passion and choosing to spend time with me learning all about branding, business, and all things creativity. You can find more episodes just like this one at makerandmoxie.com/podcast. If you like this one, you can tap that subscribe or follow button so that you're notified about each and every new episode. And if you've got a spare second, please leave a review on iTunes or wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast, because I would absolutely 100% love to hear from you. If there were some helpful goodies in this episode for you, it would mean the world to me as well if you could screenshot that podcast player right now, hop on over to Instagram or Twitter and tag us at Maker and Moxie. By subscribing, reviewing, and sharing, you're helping reach more creators just like you, so that together we can make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. We can't achieve this mission without you, so your support means the absolute world. I will talk to you in the next episode, but until then, keep creating.